aftermath of Billy Mayhew's tragic death continues to cast a long shadow over Coronation Street as grief, guilt, and buried secrets begin to tear lives apart. What initially appeared to be a devastating accident in the Corriedale minibus crash is now slowly unraveling into something far darker. And at the center of it all stands Theo Silverton. Billy's sudden death has left Weatherfield reeling. For Todd Grimshaw, Spellman, and George Shuttleworth, the loss is unbearable. Billy was not just a partner, a guardian, or a son. He was the emotional glue holding them together. His absence is felt in every quiet moment, every unfinished conversation, and every corner of the street where his presence once brought warmth and reassurance. Todd, in particular, is struggling to cope. Already fragile from the emotional abuse he suffered at the hands of Theo, Billy's death feels like a cruel twist of fate. Todd is consumed by grief, but also plagued by a growing sense that something about the crash doesn't add up. While he tries to stay strong for Summer and George, cracks are beginning to show, and his unresolved trauma is bubbling dangerously close to the surface. Summer is equally devastated. Billy was her rock, and without him, she feels completely unanchored. As she tries to navigate her grief, she finds herself surrounded by people offering sympathy, but one person's presence feels deeply unsettling. Theo, who publicly presents himself as caring and supportive, goes out of his way to comfort Summer. On the surface, his concern appears genuine, but beneath it lies something uncomfortable and forced. Unknown to most on the street, Theo is secretly responsible for Billy's death. While details of his involvement remain hidden for now, his guilt is written all over him. He swings between moments of cold calculation and overwhelming panic, terrified that the truth could emerge at any moment. His attempts to insert himself into the grieving family's lives only heighten suspicion, particularly for Todd, who knows better than anyone how manipulative Theo can be. George Shuttleworth is also struggling to come to terms with the loss of his son. Known for his humor and warmth, George is now a broken man, barely able to process the idea of planning Billy's funeral. His grief is raw and visible, and he leans heavily on Todd and Summer for support, even as they are barely holding themselves together. As the days pass, tensions begin to rise. Old resentments, past jealousy, and half-buried truths resurface, threatening the fragile sense of unity holding the group together. Todd's distrust of Theo grows stronger, fueled by memories of control and violence that he has tried desperately to leave behind. Every interaction with Theo sends alarm bells ringing, and Todd begins to suspect that Theo knows more about the crash than he's letting on. Meanwhile, Lisa Swain is quietly piecing together the facts. As a detective, she is trained to look beyond appearances, and something about the minibus crash doesn't sit right with her. Small inconsistencies, overlooked details, and Theo's oddly performative grief begin to raise red flags. While others are consumed by their sorrow, Lisa remains focused, determined to uncover the truth no matter how uncomfortable it may be. Theo, sensing the walls closing in, becomes increasingly erratic. His guilt starts to manifest in dangerous ways, from sudden outbursts to moments of emotional detachment. His desperation to maintain control over the narrative, over Todd, and over the situation only makes him more reckless. Each lie he tells pulls him deeper into a web he may not be able to escape. The turning point comes when Lisa confronts Theo with evidence that links him directly to the events leading up to Billy's death. Faced with the reality that the truth is finally catching up to him, Theo's carefully constructed facade begins to crumble. For Todd, the moment is both devastating and validating. The confirmation that his instincts were right all along brings no relief, only heartbreak. Lisa arrests Theo, bringing a sense of justice but not closure. Billy's death cannot be undone, and the scars left behind will take a long time to heal. Summer is left grappling with the knowledge that the man who comforted her in her darkest moments was hiding a terrible secret. George is forced to confront a new layer of grief, knowing his son's life was taken not by fate, but by someone's actions. Weatherfield is left forever changed. The arrest marks the end of one chapter, but the emotional fallout is only just beginning. Todd must now face a future without Billy, while trying to rebuild his life after abuse. Lisa's actions bring truth to light, but they also open wounds that may never fully close. Coronation Street once again proves that tragedy doesn't end with a single moment. It echoes, reshapes lives, and leaves behind questions that linger long after the truth is revealed.